In the second half of Module 4, we suggest that you create and use a school counseling program advisory council. This is, of course, completely optional, but an option we strongly recommend. Setting up and using an advisory council really doesn't require a huge time commitment, and your return on investment, that is the number of hours you have to spend to prepare for and implement an advisory council, is pretty low in comparison to the potential benefit that an advisory council can bring. And if you're a person who likes to have an insurance policy, a school counseling program advisory council is just what you want. In its simplest form, an advisory counselor for your school counseling program allows you to share what you're doing in your program with members of the community, and just like your annual meeting with your school principal, allows members of the community to provide their input and ideas on how your school counseling program might be better. Typical advisory council members are not only parents, but others such as Chamber of Commerce representatives, local business owners, religious leaders, representatives from community organizations or post-secondary institutions, and others. Some school counselors strategically invite community members to be on the advisory council who could be potential naysayers, the philosophy being if the naysayers are aware of what's going on with the counseling program and are offering advice, they're far less likely to be critical of it in public. Yes, it can be a bit of a risk, but I have heard from several counselors who have told me it was the smartest thing they did. Steps B5, B9, and B11 give you sample language to help you plan and implement your advisory council meetings, including sample language in B5 for inviting potential new members to your advisory council, sample language for an invitation to your actual advisory council meetings in B9, and a sample agenda in step B11. Since these are all in Google Docs, remember that you will need to go to File, make a copy, then rename and save these documents to a folder of your own so you can edit them and use them as you wish. But once you've done that, we also give you places in steps B6, B9, and B11, sounds like bingo, doesn't it, to upload your edited files so you can quickly and easily access them here in Ramp Ready in the future. Clicking on the pencil icon in step B7 gives you a handy tool for adding new advisory council members and designating their perspective or what type of advisory council member they are, such as a parent, teacher, etc. Click on Other if there's a designation that isn't captured in the list we provide. Clicking on Advisory Council Email List provides an easy way to copy and paste just the email addresses of your council members into an email invitation, easy peasy. And clicking on Advisory Council Roster generates a handy list of your advisory council members. In step B8, you can set dates and times for your advisory council meetings by clicking again on the pencil icon, choosing if you plan to have one or more meetings, then selecting both the date and the starting time of the meeting. Minutes from your advisory council meetings are required for ASCA's RAMP Award, but optional in Basecamp. Nevertheless, we do believe minutes are a good way to capture advisory council members' comments and can help you remember what was covered in the previous meeting. So we've added an option for creating minutes in step B13. Hopefully these documents provide you with most, if not all, that you will need to get started creating and implementing an advisory council on a continuous basis. A couple of quick suggestions for advisory councils. We suggest advisory councils meet at least once per year, preferably in the fall if you're only going to do one meeting, but we highly recommend having at least 2 annual meetings if you can, one in the fall and one in the spring. Be sure your advisory council meetings are at least a 50-50 mix of you and your staff presenting or talking, and the other 50% listening or recording what your advisory council members are saying. You really don't want your meeting to be a monologue or a workshop presentation where council members sit and get. How boring. An advisory council meeting is intended to be a conversation, a little bit of them, a little bit of you. Even if you don't use every idea they suggest, you want to make sure your council members feel that their ideas and comments are valuable and have been heard. Also, try to make your advisory council meetings a mix of your plans, what you plan to do in your program in the coming year, and results, any outcomes or data results that you have so far. In a perfect world, you would focus on planning in the fall and provide your results in the spring. But since student outcome data isn't always available by the end of the school year, your advisory council meetings will likely be a mix of what you're planning to do and what results you've seen so far, even if the results are from the previous school year. When you share results data with your advisory council, it's great if you can show how your school counseling program is effective and valuable and measurably making a difference. But note that even data that trends downward or doesn't look so hot is okay too, because it provides an opportunity for your advisory council members to feel useful, to be more engaged in the process of improving outcomes. And it deepens the sense that their input is needed, it is important, and it is valuable. I hope that makes sense. If your advisory council meetings are all rah, rah, look how great we're doing presentations, then really what do you need an advisory council for? Share your honest results, even the ones that show little or no progress. That is the right thing to do in your advisory meetings. It will actually help your advisory council members be more engaged in the tough work of improving the lives of all students so they're successful in school and ready for success after they leave K-12 education.